welcome back to the Goose and Ghost Knitting Podcast. My name is Ashley and I'm coming to you today from Seattle, Washington, as I am all other days too, where I live. And I mean, I live there. I don't really have much else to say about that. So this is episode 4. I really should have checked that before I started, shouldn't I? Oh well, I believe this is episode, this is episode 4. So, of my knitting podcast, where I'm talking about the things that I have made and done in the last 2 weeks since my last episode. And I actually have, I didn't work on a whole lot of things since my last episode, but I do have a bunch of things to share with you. So, we're gonna go out of order today. And I'm actually going to share with you not FOs first. We're going to start with some of my designs because today is Saturday, September 24th, and a year ago today I released my very first knitting pattern. So I kind of wanted to share all of the patterns that I've released in the last year of designing with you guys, and tell you about a little sale that I have going on with my patterns for the next week to celebrate that. So the first pattern that I put out a year ago today is this guy right here. I'm putting up a picture because I actually don't have the original sample anymore. I sold it. This is the blueberry patch hat, and this was the first pattern that I ever put out. This is a hat that comes in multiple sizes, made with bulky weight yarn. I used Lion Brand Hue and Me for my original. You guys know how much I love it. I will use it all the time. And I think it's really great. It's super quick to work up and the bobbles are really adorable. So that was my first pattern that I ever put out. So next we have actually the first pattern that I designed, and to this day probably my favorite one that I've designed. It holds a very special place in my heart. Last Memorial Day weekend, so not this last year but the year before, my family all traveled out to St. Louis to see my cousin get married, and because of the pandemic, I hadn't seen my family in a really long time, and most of my family does live here in Seattle. There are some exceptions that live in Missouri, and my sister lives in Florida. Some of my aunts live in Maine, but they are moving home. She's moving home with her husband. I'm very excited to see her more. But while we were out there in Missouri, I designed this beautiful shawl. And this is called the Innsbruck Shawl, which is this town in which Megan, my cousin, got married. And it just has its triangular shawl made with Aran or worsted weight yarn. And it's got a cable braid all down the middle. It's a little bit crumpled right here because it has been in storage because I don't really wear it in the summer. With a purl row radiating out across the shawl, and it is so fantastic. I love wearing this one when it gets cold because you can just have just a little bit of the braid peeking out, and it's just very simple, very easy to wear. So this is the Innsbruck shawl. Love it, beautiful, love it. And everything that I have put out since then has been socks. Don't ask me why, I just have felt very inspired by socks. It's been something very straightforward for me to work on. You know that that's not the only thing that I have going on though, because I've been talking about my Cle Elum Cardigan. But it's all that I've done up till now. So the first sock pattern that I put out, and excuse me for how dirty the soles of these are, I wear my samples. I use my samples. And the floors of my apartment in the kitchen and living area attract dirt and metal shavings and all kinds of lovely things, so they get very dirty. So the first pattern that I put out first sock pattern that I put out, and the first pattern in my Seattle Sock series celebrating all the different neighborhoods of Seattle was the Ballard Sock. This is the Ballard Sock here. This is a DK, ooh, that lighting. This is a DK weight sock that has a cable down the middle, and then the cable is surrounded by one on the other side too, two faux cable. No, it is a real cable. Two smaller cables on the outside. So that's what it looks like all down the front. So this is a DK weight yarn. I knit this in Scottsdale Haiku. Of course, I will have all of these linked down below. So these are the Ballard socks. And then my next release was kind of a twofer. I have two different versions of this pattern. And this is my most popular sock pattern. And again, a little bit messy because I actually use these, but this is the Fremont Sock. So I'll show you on the shorty. Just has a little bit of color work, a folded over picot cuff, a little bit of color work before going into the toe, and then the foot is all vanilla, and then a little bit of color work right before the toe. And there's two different versions here. So I've got the shorty version and I mean, it's not super long, but the long version. Same concept, folded over cuff, color work, vanilla, the toe, or the heel, vanilla, and then color work right before the toe. And these are included in the same pattern. The green is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed, the yellow is Cascade Heritage, the pink is McMullen Fiber Co. Posh Sock, and the red is Knit Picks Stroll Tweed. Love this one, and the folded over picot cuff is something that I had never tried before. I had never done on a sock, but I think it is the cutest little detail, and it actually fits really well. So the next pattern that I put out after that is right here. This one celebrates the neighborhood of Queen Anne. I just arrange it perfectly so. Here. Alright, so this is the Queen Anne socks. It is a shorty. Move away from that light beam here so you can actually see. A shorty sock that has a lace panel down the front and a pointing to things on the back of the sock here. You can't see that. A ruffle on the cuff. And it's the cutest thing. I love wearing it with like dresses, and I live in Seattle, so socks with sandals is the thing to do. So of course I've been doing that. But I think it looks really cute with like Birkenstocks, or I have a pair of kind of platform strappy sandals that I like to wear these with. I think it's super cute. And this yarn is Earl Grey Fiber Co. in the color Shallot. I actually remember the color on this one. I don't remember the colors on most of the other ones. Remember the color on the next one though. The next one I've actually talked about on the podcast. This is the Green Lake socks. I haven't really worn these yet because it hasn't been seasonally appropriate yet. These are the Green Lake socks, and they just feature a lace panel lace panel all down the front, down one side, and it is reversed on the other sock, so it's down this side on the other sock. It has just a little like leafy, snake windy all the way down. And this green is Yarnaceous Salta Fingering in the color City Lights, and this blue is a Sewrella Oopsie. So I don't know what color it is, but very cute. So those are all of the patterns that I've put out in the last year. And I'm going to talk about 2 more that I have upcoming in my episode today. But for all of those ones, I would like to offer 15% off all of my patterns through next Saturday, October 1st, using the code that I'll put right here, 1 year. And I have all of my patterns available on Etsy and Ravelry, and of course I'll have those linked down below with the code there as well. So I really hope you check them out. Let me know if any of those patterns appeal to you, and if you're gonna think about making them, that'd make me so happy. Or even just checking them out. And I'll probably mention this every single time that I have a pattern come out or talk about my patterns. If you're not going to purchase it, or you're going to think about purchasing it in the future, but you still want to support me, the best way to do that is giving the pattern a favorite. Giving the pattern a favorite on Etsy and on Ravelry, or either, depending on which platform you use or which platform you subscribe to, whatever. I know a lot of people don't like to purchase things on Etsy, and a lot of people aren't functionally able to use Ravelry, so either way. But both platforms work best by favoriting items, patterns, and that's how they get pushed out to more people, is that those platforms see that, look at that light, beautiful. Okay, maybe I'll back up a little bit. See that people like them, so they'll push it out to more people, so more people can see them. So I would really appreciate that. Go check it out. Links are in my bio, in the description down below. Let me know if any of those are ones that you would like to check out, and I'd really be appreciative. So thanks. Okay, moved my curtain so you can still have the beautiful natural light, but it's not going to be interrupting what I'm trying to show you, because I just tried filming, showing you my next thing that I need to, and it wasn't pretty. You couldn't see it at all. Alright, so I have one more of my designs to show you before I move over to what I've been working on this week and my finished objects and everything. But that is because I have a tester call going out today for these socks. These are the Magnolia Socks. And you can see, got all my markers still here because I'm still taking notes and writing out the pattern, so I need things marked, but I'll move to the other side. So we've got plain vanilla all the way down the front, and on the foot, contrast toe. I love a contrast toe. And on the back, move it around so you can see it here as much as I can. On the back, you've got this cable, very fun cable, all the way down the middle, and then 2 rows of tiny cables, and they are lined up perfectly down the back of the foot, like so. And this will twist it, but everything's lined up perfectly down the back of the foot, and I just thought these were the cutest little subtle details for fall. So I used, this is a fingering weight sock. I used Knit Picks Capretta. I don't think I have the color with me, but I'll put what it is down in the description. So it's a merino cashmere nylon blend, and then the toe is Knit Pick Stroll. super, super beautiful. So I will have the tester call application for this down linked in my description. It's a 4-week tester with only needing to finish 1 sock, and I would love to work with you. And I've had so much fun in all of the other test knits that I have put on and participated in, and I think they're a great way to kind of expand your skills and have a community around you while you're expanding said skills. I love it. So Magnolia Socks, and this will be a part of my Seattle Socks series, as all of my other socks so far have been. This is celebrating the neighborhood of Magnolia, which is very close by to where I live. I don't live in Magnolia, I live in the neighborhood of Ballard, but they are neighbors to each other. And Magnolia just felt like my dad used to work there when I was growing up in Magnolia, and it just feels very cozy. And the name itself is very cozy. So here we go. Magnolia Socks. Link for the tester application is in my bio. I will be picking people on Wednesday, which is look at my calendar here. I'll be picking people on Tuesday, which is no, I'm going to be picking people on Wednesday, September 28th. So there's 4 days, including today, to send in your application. I would love to have people test with me. Make me so happy. But that's all that I have for now in terms of my own projects. So, or my own projects, my own patterns. I'll come back to one more later in the episode because I've been talking about it a lot. But let's move on to finished objects. I have only one this week, and it's one that I told you guys that I was going to finish, and I did. I finished my boat racing socks. So let me put these on a sock blocker here. I made these. So I've been talking the last couple episodes about my family's business and how I was going to go to San Diego to help out my parents with their family, their company. And my parents race hydroplanes, and these are the colors of the boat that they own. So the main color is this super fun neon yellow, which is Seismic Yarns Butter Sock in Not So Mellow Yellow. And then the blue is Lang Yarns, Langya Wool in the color navy. The red is Katya United Sock. I did 20 for the cuff, 50 altogether, 2 stockinette in the yellow, 8 stockinette in the blue, 2 yellow, 2 red, and then the rest yellow. Plain vanilla all the way down, and then I just switched out the colors for the toe between the red and the blue. Very fun, very neon, and they will serve me well and give me many special memories during non-boat racing season. And they will feel like summer for me when everything is cold and not summery. So, and you can see I've done a really good job of weaving in my end on the sock, but whatever. So, I didn't do a good job of packing for San Diego, and I made a video about everything that I was going to be taking knitting wise with me, which is up here in the card that you should check out because it didn't do very well compared to my podcast episodes. But if that's how it's going to be, that lets me know what people want to watch. Okay, fine. But I finished these on Saturday morning, and we were boat racing through till the end of Sunday. So I had to start a new pair of socks using that same yarn because that was all that I had with me. So I asked on Instagram if people had any suggestions for free sock pattern because I didn't feel like going through the process of trying to set up my PayPal on my phone and trying to figure out how to buy a pattern on my phone. It wasn't something I had the brain capacity for. And I got a lot of really good suggestions that I will probably come back to later. But at the same time I was asking that, I went back through my library and was like, wait, I really wanted to make this pattern. Why don't I just make it now? And it was something that I had bought a while ago and I actually already made. These were the Stillwater Socks, put a picture here, by Summer Lee, who's we all know is fantastic and the queen of socks. But the first version of them that I made didn't fit. Didn't fit at all. They were very big. And I made them in what should have been my size. My needle size I always used, they were just too big. So I gave them to my mom and they fit her perfectly. So, but I'd always wanted to make another pair for myself. So I was like, okay, sure. So I cast on with the yarn that I had with me a pair for myself, and I decided to do a shorty. And this is how much I did in between working at a boat race and all of the lovely things that go on. I've got my shadow wrap heel in red, the main color being the blue, and then just the cuff in yellow, and I'll do the toe in red too. So it's just a all over texture with a faux cable down the sides. This side is kind of hidden by the markers, but very fun sock pattern. Just mindless enough that I could get through it without needing to think, but not stockinette because I'm getting very bored of stockinette. I'm getting very bored of it. I need something to challenge me right now. So it was perfect for what I needed. I'm actually 10, 20, 30, 40, about 20 rows away from the toe on this one. And doing these on my US 1.5 wood ChowGoo needles. And okay, I have a question for everybody who uses wood needles regularly. I don't use wood needles. I don't like them. These were a gift because I didn't know that these existed, and my brother, I just asked for ChowGoo sock needles for Christmas, and this is what my brother came to me with, and I was like, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. How do you knit with these once that there is any ounce of humidity in the air or your hands just get even the tiniest bit sweaty? Because when that happens, my yarn starts getting just a little bit damp, and the wood just gets a little bit damp, and everything sticks to it. The yarn sticks to the wood, and it gets very annoying, and you kind of have to like, wow, that was cute. That was not vulgar at all. Like, I really have to like push on the needle to try and push it off. And that's just kind of why I prefer metal needles. It's so smooth, so much easier. So is that a me problem, not really using wood needles regularly? I know wood needles are stickier than metal needles. That's why I prefer metal needles. But how do people deal with that? Because I would like to keep using these, but it's an issue that I keep running into over and over and over again. For the most part, though, I'll probably just keep using my preferred metal needles. I really like, in general, metal needles are just so much easier. They're easier on my hands. They move so much smoother. I can knit a little bit faster. faster with them. So I'm going to take my time with this. I'll have this, I'm not really worried about it, but that's what I got going on. So next whip is, okay, I was hyping this one up so hard. I was like, you guys, I'm going to Disneyland. My yarn is falling out everywhere. I'm going to Disneyland. I need a project to take with me. I've got the perfect Disneyland yarn. Isn't it beautiful? This is Sewrella Stellina Sock, right? Stellina Sock, which is a 75 superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 5% gold stellina. So I don't think you'll be able to see any of the sparkles, but it is very sparkly. It's beautiful. And I was hyping myself up. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna knit so much on these socks. It'll be great. I'll be waiting in lines all day. Guys, this was all that I knit on them. That's it. That's it. So, yeah, I did start the heel. These were, I had intentionally planned for these to be a shorty. But I'll talk about the trip more in my life section. But the Disneyland was chaotic. We were fully expecting it to be so quiet and such a slow day. It was not. It was very busy. So I just did not have a whole lot of time to knit. So we'll see if I put those in hibernation until I go on another Disney trip, or if I actually finish those. I don't know. I'm not really like intending to do much with them right now because there's other things that I want to get to, and I just needed those for standing in lines. But we didn't end up standing in line that much because my sister has a very serious autoimmune disease, and because of that she gets a disability pass where we get to stand in virtual queues all day. So we didn't stand in lines. So I'll talk about it more later, but we're talking about knitting right now. That's all I've got for socks. But I've got, okay, the next two projects, my last two projects that I have to talk about are actually the projects that I have worked on the most in the last 2 weeks. And it's not really going to seem like I've actually, yeah, I've made a lot of progress on this. So this is my straw flower shawl by Ksenia Nadion, who is Life is Cozy. And it looks like this. Yep. Okay, it's very big. So we've got alternating sections of garter, lace, and baubles in a triangle shawl, and it's very big. And since my last podcast, I have, you can see where the pink stitch marker is. I've done that much. I didn't bring this to San Diego with me. So this is how much I've done since I've been home. So about right here up. It's been a decent amount. This bauble, just the bauble row, not the green stockinette around it, just the baubles, took me 1.5 days. It took so long. And I have one more bauble row in this shawl. I'm actually getting decently close to the end. I'm very excited. I'm over halfway. I'm excited to like block this because it's all scrunched up right now, and I know that once I block it, it's going to be really big and it's going to be so soft. So The yarn I'm using for this, the dark green, this is Knit Picks Gloss Fingering and the color Pine. And the neon lime green is Knit Picks Shimmer Lace in the color Euphorbia. And I swear every time I say that, I'm like, that's a mistype. Somebody messed up on the label. It's totally supposed to be Euphoria, right? No, it says on the website too that it's called Euphorbia. So I don't know what's going on there. But we're gonna roll with it. So I'm enjoying working on this. It's just, again, oh no. I dropped some stitches. We're good though. Once again, like I mentioned a second ago, that I'm getting bored of Stockinette. It's still a lot of garter in between the detail sections. So I really need to cast on a project that's not just garter. Really need something that's good, engaging project. So I've got my Ravelry queue, been poring over it, trying to decide which project that I want to go for next. And I think we're gonna go with color work next. Really excited to do some color work. Oh, I've never talked about what I'm wearing. I'm not wearing any knitwear today, but this top is from La Mercerie, which is I'll call it a local yarn store to me. It's actually not that far away. It's just, you have to take a ferry to get to it. It's on Bainbridge Island, but it is local to me. It's about, with ferry time, it's only about 45 minutes. It's just a super cute pattern. If it's still available, I'll link it down below. They have a fantastic online store. They sell knitting for Olive, which I know is a little bit harder to get in the US. And it's just the cutest, most aesthetic shop ever. I love them. So, highly recommend checking them out. Just while I'm sitting here readjusting myself. Alright, last work in progress. We'll talk about my Cle Elum Cardigan. And I made huge strides on this in the last 2 weeks. So I finished the first front panel and I seamed up the sides with stitch markers. Didn't quite feel like seaming up the sides quite yet, but I did sew together those two. Now we're just, remember how I said I wasn't going to show the inside on my last episode? You guys. Okay, we're just working now on the second front panel, which I've just started it, but I have run into a slight issue. This is the last ball of yarn that I have. I grossly underestimated how much yarn I thought I would need for this project. So I need to go order more so that I can finish the second front panel and do the sleeve and do some kind of edging around the neckband just to finish it off and make it look clean. Haven't decided what direction I want to go in for that, but it's looking really good. I tried it on as much as I can try it on right now with just having one shoulder seam. I tried it on yesterday and I'm really pleased with how it looks. It fit how I wanted it to, which is just a little bit oversized but very cuddly, very cozy, and just played around with the armhole depth, trying to figure out how much depth I want to give it, because it is supposed to be oversized, but I wanted the arm to be on the more fitted side. That makes no sense. Those are contradicting things. I want it to still be oversized, but I didn't want it to be a huge balloon sleeve. So I want it to be a loose fitting, fitted sleeve, if that makes sense, like tapered. So I have to figure that out. I have to order more yarn. So I may have to put this down for a little bit. But again, it is all garter. So I am just knitting back and forth and back and forth. Guys, I'm getting bored. Which, I'm not bored of my pattern. I'm just bored because every project I've worked on lately has been mainly garter or stockinette. So I just need something to spice it up. I thought that my straw flower shawl would do that, but because it is big sections of garter, it didn't quite do it. So we're gonna have to do something new. So we'll get through this ball, order some more yarn. Well, I'll order more yarn before I get through this ball so that it will get here in a reasonable amount of time. But again, here's what the back looks like. I am very happy with it. It is turning out very nice. It is very warm. And it's exactly what I wanted in a big, cozy, warm winter, fall cardigan. And I did notice, okay, we'll talk about this really quick. I did notice a lot of people in the last episode calling it my log cabin cardigan. So my assumption is people didn't know how to spell Cle Elum. I'll put it up right here. This is how you spell Cle Elum. 2 words, C-L-E-E-L-U-M. If you want to keep calling it the log cabin cardigan, that's fine. I still know what you mean. This is just what it's named. I know it is a little bit of a different word, what most people aren't conditioned to understand, because it's not English, but this is how it's pronounced and this is how it's spelled. If you're from the Pacific Northwest, and I'm sure it's this way across most of America, but most of our cities and landmarks are either named after Native American words local to our region, or had Native American names and then those names were stripped and given the name of a white settler to the region. So like Mount Rainier is the name of a white explorer to the region. The original name of the mountain was Mount Tahoma. So just things like that. Most of the names for places in our region are named after Native American words. So I actually have an acquisition this episode, which I haven't had an acquisition in a while. But I have two. I have a skein of yarn and some stitch markers. So I got in my pre-order from Fangirl Fibers of her Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party yarn, and I ordered the color Not So Scary, and it's this beautiful neon orange with white stripes and little bits of like purple and green. Move me out of the way, come on, focus. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Super pretty. So this is Not So Scary by Fangirl Fibers. Here's the information. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards, 365 meters per 100 grams. And I'll be saving this for Halloween. And I also got stitch markers from the same pre-order. So this is a big bundle of stitch markers. They're wood laser cut. And they are all of the Mickey and Friends characters. That's not going to focus in their Halloween costumes. So let's see how I can do this. I'll take a picture and put it in here to show you. But it's so cute. I love them. They're going to be on all of my projects for the rest of autumn. I think they're great. I think they're so cute. They make me very happy. So I will move these over to my coffee table that's behind me right there so that they don't get lost, because those could very easily get lost. And they all have lobster claw attachments on them, because I like being able to use them as progress keepers or stitch markers, and that will fit on most of my projects. Okay, so that's really all that I have to talk about in terms of knitting. I want to shout out Kika, who recently, she's a knitwear designer and YouTuber, and she is beautiful. She recently got married and she knit and crocheted her wedding dress. And I was absolutely entranced by it. So I wanted to link the video down below of her making that dress. And I'm sure, like, I'm just a tiny little podcaster, so I'm sure most people have heard of her more than they've heard of me, but I want to share it because it was so beautiful and it made me so happy. I really love weddings. I'm absolutely one of those girls that has, like, been thinking about her wedding since she was 6 years old. And it sparked something in me. Absolutely sparked something in me. I'm not going to knit my wedding dress, but I will knit accessories for me someday. Someday, we'll see. But that's all I really got for knitting. Should we talk about life? It's been a crazy 2 weeks. So we talked about, I was gonna go on my trip to San Diego. We went to Disneyland. I have been talking so much about how I'm trying to get a job. So let's catch you up to speed on all of those things. We'll start with the job. I still don't have a job in my career path that I'm trying to get into, but I need to pay some bills. So I went and got a temporary job in retail, which I'm not happy about, but it's gonna be a way for me to spend my days, and it's at a major craft store, so I will get an employee discount on something that I have been wanting to buy for a very long time, but because it's very expensive, I have not purchased. So I'm gonna buy a sewing machine with my employee discount soon, and I'm very excited for that, but I'm also very excited for a little bit of financial stability. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be able to help me soothe my anxiety over being unemployed completely. So I'm still looking for a real job. Not that retail's not a real job, but it's not a sustainable job, and I want to get out of it as soon as I possibly can, but it'll pay the bills. So there's my update for that. I still appreciate all of the good vibes while I am searching for a more sustainable job, and a job that would make me much happier and way less anxious, but it is what it is, and we'll keep moving forward. San Diego, fantastic. It is one of my favorite cities that we get to travel to for boat races. I love the food, I love the beach. We didn't really get to go to the beach much, but all of the restaurants that we go to while we're down there, fantastic. The boat racing itself was okay. we finished all of our heats, which is great. But we didn't place for the second time all season. Actually, we've got podium at 3 race sites. We do multiple races in a weekend. So that was fun. And then Disneyland was really fun. So we only went for one day. We went to Disneyland and California Adventure, and we really expected it to be a super slow day. It's the end of September. That's usually slow. The ticket prices were very cheap for that day, so we're all kind of like, oh, everyone's gonna be at school. No, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. It was so busy. Shortly after my boyfriend and I started dating, we helped move his grandmother from here in Seattle to San Francisco, and then we kept driving and met up with his cousins that live near Anaheim, and we went to Disneyland for 2 days over the 4th of July. This random Monday in the middle of September was busier than when he and I went for the 4th of July. Explain that to me, because I didn't get it. None of my family got it. My sister has a lot of insight into things at Disney, and she didn't get it. So it was busy, but thankfully, not thankfully, like I said, my sister has an autoimmune disease that affects her ability to be in the sun for extended periods of time. And my mom has an autoimmune disease that affects her ability to stand for extended periods of time. So we were able to get disability passes. It's called DAS. And we were able to virtual queue. For most of the day, so that really helped. It helped being able to like not have to stand in lines, and that was very nice. Towards the end of the day, my boyfriend got a text from his friend who lives across the street from his parents that, hey, there's ambulances at your parents' house. What's going on? Are you okay? Forgetting that he's in California and doesn't live with his parents. But his dad had a medical issue. He's okay now, but it was very scary in the meantime while we were 2,000 miles away and couldn't be there, didn't know what was going on, and his mom and my boyfriend's mom has some anxiety and PTSD, like I do too, connected to medical issues, because 2 years ago this week my boyfriend was in a major accident and was in the hospital for a couple days, and we were all freaked out that this happened almost exactly 2 years after Colin's accident. So that was great. Everything's okay. He just needs to get checked out by a cardiologist now. So you guys, things don't end. Things keep going and going and going. So when we got home, he was actually back from the hospital, and we were able to go see him. He's doing okay. So he's really genuinely, he's okay. So that was good. And now things coming up in the next couple weeks is I'm going to be starting that retail job here, I think this upcoming week. I got a text from the manager just right now actually that she wants me to come in to get paperwork filled out. That's what I checked my phone for. So I'll have to go deal with that in a little. So that's what I got going up next week. Next weekend, next Monday, so 2.5 years ago, before the pandemic started, my favorite band growing up in high school and in my formative years was My Chemical Romance. And I loved them so much, and it was devastating for me when they broke up. And then they reunited. And so of course I bought tickets 2.5 years ago. And they kept getting rescheduled, kept rescheduling because of safety precautions. The concert's finally here. It's finally going to be next Monday. I'm so excited. I got to see them once right before they broke up, and seeing them again this weekend is going to be really special because it's going to be, it's like that level of nostalgia where like you're still in it. Like they're still one of my favorite bands, but it's gonna feel like taking a step back in time while still like validating all of those emo feelings that I have now. It'll be great. I'm so excited. It'll be fun. And then I should have another episode out before I do more exciting things, but the next couple weeks are going to be full of very exciting things for me. We've got the start of the Seattle Kraken season, got a couple concerts. I got that My Chemical Romance one, and then I'm going to another one with my boyfriend's brother's wife, and starting that job while looking for more jobs, and hopefully good things. I've been in a search lately for good things in life, and while I'm feeling very defeated by a lot of things and my mental state hasn't been exactly great lately, but while I'm looking for all of the good things amidst the bad, so trying to stay positive while I'm not feeling good. But anyways, that's really all I have today. So link to my Etsy and Ravelry shops down below. Remember, use the code 1YEAR, 1 spelled out, until next Saturday, October 1st, and apply for the Magnolia Socks test knit until Wednesday the 28th. Link for that will be down in this description too. Link for everything that I talked about today will be down in this description. But I'm gonna go so that I can go edit the video and put it up to upload while I go do grocery shopping, because I really need to go grocery shopping. So thanks so much for watching. Please comment down below. I asked a bunch of questions in this video, so please comment your thoughts on those questions. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye.